I'm not going to spend as much time marking up the rape of the lock. It does start in your textbook on page 325, and the first thing I want you to notice is the letter to Mrs. Arabella Fermor. Now, she was not married. This was just a standard way of addressing ladies at the time. And he is basically in this asking her permission. You know, I really appreciate you giving permission to tell this little story about what happened to you. He makes reference to the machinery referring to the deities, angels, or demons. He has all these little sprites and spirits running amok. So that's what he's talking about there. He does start on page 326 with a call to the muse, an invocation to the muse, John Carroll. And it tells you at the bottom that this is the friend who suggested he write the poem in the first place, who literally did inspire him. Arabella is the woman in real life. Belinda is the name of the character in your epic poem. And notice we already have goddess. We're already pulling this in. Okay? We have lapdogs. We do have a little lapdog, Shock, who wakes up Belinda, with little morning kisses at 12 in the morning. This gal is sleeping in way late. She has a guardian sylph, kind of like a guardian angel in a sense. This sylph, Ariel will be later named, has tried to warn her 'twas he had summoned to her silent bed the morning dream that hovered o'er her head. Notice your rhyming couplets. A youth more glittering than a birthright bow, that even in slumber caused her cheek to glow, seemed to have her ear his winning lips to lay, and thus in whispers said, or seemed to say. So we know something is coming up. She has had little warning dreams. There is a reference to the elements, again, something typical that would have appeared in Greek epic, because we have the reference to all things made of fire, water, earth, air, an ancient belief. And we have Pope borrowing supernatural characters. And you have several footnotes that will point them out. We have a reference about line 88 on page 328 to young coquettes. Okay. 'Tis these that early taint the female soul, instruct the eyes of young coquettes to roll, teach infant cheeks a hidden blush to know, and little hearts to flutter at a bow. A coquette is a flirt, not a word we often use. Her particular guardian angel is Ariel, who is trying to warn her. He said when Shock the lapdog, and this is on page 329, who thought she slept too long, leaped up and waked his mistress with his tongue. 'Twas then, Belinda, if report says true, thy eyes first opened on a billet doux. Rhyme. So she's now getting up. We are going to have her at the bottom of this page, 329, start to make herself up. This is going to describe the elaborate makeup that she does. This is comparable in the Iliad to Achilles putting on his armor. So while Pope is using satire, he's having a wee bit of fun putting on her makeup. She's going into war, literally, and toward the end they do have a battle. We do have a reference to them going on the river boat. In Canto 2, they're going down the river to the party at Hampton Court. The nymph to the destruction of mankind nourished two locks which graceful hung behind, in equal curls and well conspired to deck with shining ringlets the smooth ivory neck. Nymph here is Belinda. She has these two beautiful curls hanging down her back, and the Baron, he wants to cut off one of these curls. And that's going to be what the whole big battle is about. We have a reference to Phoebus Apollo. So we're pulling in all of these things. It's just really over-exaggerated. But essentially the Baron has cast his little spells and did his rituals, he probably pranced in the light of the moon to prepare himself for this. But through the whole thing, we do have supernatural references. On page 332, about line 100, this day black omens threat the brightest fair, that e'er deserved a watchful spirit's care. Something's going to happen, we know it. Okay? Do thou, Crispissa, tend her favorite lock. Ariel is giving the other spirits order. Ariel himself shall be the guard of shock. To 50 chosen selves, he has all of these spirits out there gathering to watch over Belinda. Tend her favorite lock. Do you have a favorite lock of hair? Isn't this slightly over-exaggerated? As Pope intended. Canto 3 starts on page 333. They're at the Hamptons. Very, very lush mansion. We have heroes and nymphs. So keep getting that idea of a lush, luxurious place. Belinda, down around line 25. Belinda now, whom thirst of fame invites, burns to encounter 2 adventurous knights. At ombre, singly to decide their doom. They're gonna play cards. That's all it is. Swells her breast with conquests yet to come. She's planning on winning cards. It's that simple. She has war here on page 324. Now move to war her sable matadors. It's a card game. On 335, we have a couple of interesting references. Here we have coffee. Coffee. Isn't that wonderful? They're bringing in coffee. They've prepared us for this with the mill turns around the coffee mill at about line 106. Coffee, which makes the politician wise. At this point in time, coffee was this wonderful new drink, and coffee houses were abounding where free thinkers and visionaries would go and they would discuss wise things. Well, as we go on page 336, Clarissa assists the Baron, hands him some scissors. He snatches that little lock of hair and cuts it, and then basically it all breaks loose. So 336 has several important passages. We have, then flashed the living lightning from her eyes, and screams of horror rend the affrighted skies. The skies are even afraid. Husbands are when lapdogs breathe their last, or when rich china vessels fallen from high and glittering we are over-exaggerating the situation at the time, which is Pope's whole idea. On 337 in Canto 4, Ah, thou sad virgin, for thy ravished hair, the end of the first section here in Canto 4. This sounds like Keats' poem in Ode on a Grecian Urn. Thy ravished hair, oh, what shall we ever do? For that sad moment when the sylphs withdrew, and Ariel weeping from Belinda flew, Umbrel, a dusky melancholy sprite. Consider a gnome or a troll. Basically, he's going to go down into Hades to the Cave of Spleen. So basically, this is a place where nobody's happy. Everybody's kind of putting on airs, pretending to be something they're not. They're pissed, they're moping, they're whiny, and he's going to bring back some winds, just like Odysseus in the Odyssey journeys and has a bag of winds. Well, he has a bag of basically melancholy, poor feelings. He goes down, he brings that back. Now, all of this is going on and on, developing an over-exaggerated situation. We have Umbrel on page 339. Oh, he is so lucky. He gets to bring this back. He has begged it from the Queen of the Underworld. And he's going to deliver that up to the mortals. And we do have a reference here to Ulysses. Odysseus. I tend to go with the Greek names more than the Roman ones. But on 340, we have all of this, a plague, everything is just so awful. Umbral, hateful gnome, he's just trying to stir up trouble. We have Belinda on the bottom of 340. Forever cursed be this detested day, which snatched my best, my favorite curl away. Happy, 10 times happy had I been, if Hampton Court these eyes had never seen. Yet am not I the first mistaken maid, by love of courts to numerous ills betrayed. She's just really exaggerating. Now, in Canto 5, we have some other things going on. We have a reference to frail beauty must decay, curled or uncurled, since locks will turn to gray. Since painted or not painted, all shall fade, and she who scorns a man must die a maid. What then remains but well our power to use? Some interesting little lines in there that Pope is throwing in. On 342, we have a battle. And basically, Umbral has kind of egged things on. We have all of them fighting. The mortals are fighting. The sprites are fighting. At the bottom of 342, when bold Sir Bloom had drawn Clarissa down, Chloe stepped in and killed him with a frown. Have you been killed with a frown? She smiled to see the doughty hero slain, but at her smile the bow revived again. Now Jove suspends his golden scales in air. This is like Zeus watching over the Trojan War. We have see, fierce Belinda on the barren flies, with more than usual lightning in her eyes. They're doing battle over a curl. They are trying to get a lock of hair back. And they have their chant on page 343. Restore the lock, she cries, and all around. Restore the lock, the vaulted roofs rebound. Not fierce Othello in so loud a strain roared for the handkerchief that caused his pain. A nice little reference to Shakespeare's Othello. So they're battling. And in the course of the battle, they lost track of where the blasted lock of hair was. And it must have gone up to heaven. It arose like the Virgin Mary arose to heaven on Ascension Thursday. Some thought it mounted to the lunar sphere, since all things lost on earth are treasured there. There heroes' wits are kept in ponderous vases, and bows in snuff-box and tweezer cases. There broken vows and deathbed alms are found, and lovers' hearts with ends of ribbon bound. The courtiers' promises and sick men's prayers, the smiles of harlots and the tears of heirs, cages for gnats and chains to yoke a flea, dried butterflies and tomes of casuistry. But trust the muse, she saw it upward rise, though marked by none but quick poetic eyes. So Rome's great founder to the heavens withdrew, to Proculus alone confessed in view. A sudden star, it shot through liquid air, and drew behind a radiant trail of hair. Now, we have a lock of hair going up to heaven. So now Belinda can be content knowing that her hair has a place in heaven. It is going to be a constellation, and she can always look at it midst the stars and scribe Belinda's name. Essentially, it is a fun, epic poem. It is not serious, it is satire, meant to show these people how silly they were behaving.